Hello and welcome back to the Bayta YouTube channel, and welcome to my new series, and it's either going to be called the Bayta Startup Showcase or Startup Showcase, something like that. And the premise of this video is to give you a 3 to 5 minute roundup of 3 big businesses or startups that I've seen in the news, whether it's venture capital raising or new technologies, and give you a summary of those, as well as sprinkling a couple, 2 other businesses at the end. One of them is going to be a campus focused startup, and the other is just going to be one that I've seen online somewhere that sounds interesting to me and I think could be useful to other entrepreneurs like yourself. So let's get right into it. So let's start off with fintech, looking at Robinhood, which has just announced a new checkings and savings account that's going to be free and has compounded annual interest of 3%. Now, if you compare this to other savings accounts in the US, you often have to have a minimum requirement, or you get charged overdraft fees, international transfer fees. They're cutting all these fees out, and their aim of their business is to democratize the American financial institutions or systems. So I think this is great. Robinhood rose to fame after having free brokerage accounts so that you could trade stocks, bonds, exchange traded funds for free. And I think this checkings account is going to be really interesting. Early January 19 is when they have their the signups are open now, but they're looking to launch in early January 2019. And it's interesting to see all these challenger banks popping up now and offering financial services, which is ultimately making the landscape a lot more competitive. From one fintech to another, the UK-based challenger bank Monzo has just completed its £20 million crowdfunding round. In October, Monzo also completed its £85 million venture-backed round, and joining the likes now of Revolut, TransferWise in that 1 billion unicorn club in Europe. Monzo's latest crowdfunding round was actually run internally, reaching out to its 1 million plus existing users, and where actually users could invest in the platform from the app. So, for example, I could log into my app and invest, I think, anywhere from around £10 to invest in this round. Over 36,000 people invested and raised 20 million in just over 2 days. I think this is a great way for startups to be able to connect to such a customer-centric user base and give diehard users the opportunity to invest in a product that they love using. Now, the last main story we have today is of Minted, which has just raised £208 million for this crowdsourced independent artist platform. And essentially what they do is they take artist submissions, and then you, the users of the platform, decide which pieces that can be sold on the Minted website. From homewares to fine art to Christmas cards, the platform gives rise to independent artists who might not have the exposure or the credibility necessary to go through traditional retailers, but gives them a platform to be able to sell their products through merit and their skills alone. This has been defined as the growth stage of this business and looking to expand into further market segments. Now we're going to move on to the section which is my startup idea highlight, and for this one I have chosen a product called Draftium. Draftium is a rapid prototyping tool for websites. The purpose of the tool is to give web agencies, web designers or founders the ability to create and conceptualize a vision or an idea of a platform or an online website. The platform's hundreds of customizable templates and blocks that are built in responsive to mobile and web format make it a really accessible platform. And also for those working in a client-based industry, they actually have an instant messaging service so that you can instantly communicate rather than go through email and iterate certain designs to suit your client's needs. And the great thing about the platform is it's free to anyone that wants to use it at the start. So you get 3 for free prototypes, which means you can develop your own prototypes of websites for a project you're working on, but perhaps take it to investors. So it's great for accessibility, and then you can upgrade to a pro plan, which I think is only about $100 per year if you're looking to take this for a more consistent basis that you need to prototype websites. And lastly, the final section of the show is going to be the campus startup highlight, and I'm going to choose some guys that you might know from my channel, Accommodate, and I'll be doing more campus startups, but for the first episode I want to give these guys another shout out. They're creating an accessible platform that students can use to see their housing potentially for years 2, 3, 4, so they can get an honest, transparent review and not something just that the landlords or the letting agents have said. So it enables second and third years to review their houses, and then prospective tenants can come in and see genuine information and ask about the pros and cons of the property. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below to my podcast that I did with some of the guys that are working on Accommodate. You should definitely check it out, and I'll also leave a link to their website as well. So that concludes this episode of Bayta Startup Showcase or Startup Showcase. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, and it will probably change, but I hope you enjoyed. We've covered 3 main stories and then 2 smaller ones, and I haven't gone into full depth because I want to experiment with the shorter form content as well with my podcast. So again, I'm going to iterate and try and get better throughout this process, but hopefully it's more consumable than some of my long content, so you can literally just come here, watch a 3 to 5 minute video, get some knowledge on some big startups that are going about, and then maybe some inspiring ideas from smaller campus startups or certain technologies that I give highlights to. But I really hope you enjoyed, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode of whether it's Bayta Podcast, Careers In. I have a bunch of stuff planned, planning to meet a bunch of founders to record podcasts with, and hopefully do more episodes of this Startup Showcase. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend, and I will see you soon.